majority of my life, when it comes, to the holiday season, especially Christmas, the music is kind of like, it's just like background noise, right? You hear it as, Santa Claus this, Jingle Bells that, Happy Holidays, cool. But the older I get, the more I actually pay attention to like what's being said. And I realized that these women were out here trying to fuck Santa Claus. And I mean, that might sound like, yo, Mari, you trip. Maybe I am, but maybe I'm not. Did you think about that? Shorty said, Santa baby, hurry down the chimney tonight. Now I know up front it just sound harmless, it's whatever, right? But in my experience, the only time a woman adds baby to the end of your name is when she want to at least practice going half on one with you. Minimum. We're not talking about little baby. We're not talking about Sada baby. We're not talking about baby money. The baby is nowhere in his name. It's just Santa Claus. That's it. Santa, for short. And then the whole hurry down the chimney thing. Chimneys are known as like, dark, tight spaces that are not a traditional form of entry. Do with that what you will. I'm just saying. They tell you to check your kids' candy on Halloween. Check the Christmas songs. We back in the building, man. It's episode 12, All for the Love. If this is your first time tuning in or whether you all caught up, I appreciate you. It's me. It's Mari. The big hairline and all that. And in the spirit of, these Christmas songs, I do want to read one of these joints. Because it's not just the women that were unhinged at Christmas. It's the men too. There's a song called Wrap Her Up For Me. Off the rip. He's wilding with the title. And I should have known it was going to be an unhinged song when the artist's name is Tyrone Wells and it's a white guy. I've never seen a white Tyrone in my life. Usually, making these type of joints, you probably find you a Jason, a Connor. You might even find a Topher, but not a Tyrone. That's just, it's just not the norm. So I do want to, give me a couple minutes here. I do want to read this song and, kind of break it down for you. He start the song off with a woo. You know what I mean? Let you know what type of time he on, right? Ultimate Warrior out the gate. Santa, won't you wrap her up for me, but place her gently underneath my tree. I'll take her Christmas morning if you can't make Christmas Eve. Santa, won't you wrap her up for me? Man got poetic about the kidnapping. You know what I'm saying? Real poetic about breaking the law. And he's begging Santa, like, bro, please do your man this solid real quick. I mean, remember I looked out that one time, like, bring that through for me. So then he says, I hope you both can fit in my chimney. Hey, yo, I know that you're a big guy, so don't land on her, please. Santa, won't you wrap her up for me? So he lets Santa know, don't damage the goods, my boy. I need that intact when you bring that through. You know what I mean? Like you ordered a set of dishes or something like that, but he's talking about an actual person and all that, So let's continue. Cause she's all I want for Christmas, so Santa, please don't miss this. It's a humble wish. It's a real short Christmas list. So he's trying to tell Santa, like, bro, listen, that's all I want. The PS5 could wait. All that could wait. I'm cool. I just want that right there. And it's a humble wish. This man is asking Santa to break mad laws for him, and he said it's a humble wish. I don't want to know what he called a big favor then. This is not a dude I want to know if he asking you for a big favor. I'm cool on that. He says, I love to introduce her to my family. Maybe then my mother would finally leave me be. Santa, if you wrapped her up for me. Whenever you watch these documentaries about these serial killers and all that, they always have an issue where somebody in the family, usually their mom, is like, yeah, like I'm, trying to get a girlfriend or something, or do something, get some friends, whatever. And so now he feel the heat coming down. Mom's on his neck, like, yo, bro, how long you gonna, just be sitting around, not really doing nothing, moving and shaking. Like, you need to get you some action. You know what I'm saying? So he telling Santa, like, look, bro, you can kill two birds with one stone with this. You know what I mean? Bring me what I want. Get moms off the back. Man out here moving like Cole from Martin and all that. So, but let's continue. Let's continue. He said, I'll leave twice the cookies, wrap her nice and bring her to me. Use ribbons and bows, because every girl loves those. Hold on. Now he telling him, I'm going to sweeten the deal. I'm going to give you double the cookies I was going to give you anyway. I'm going to up the ante on you and all that if you bring her through. But don't forget to put the bows on it, because girls love those. That's serial killer talk right there. There's no way around that. That's crazy. That's absolutely unhinged, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Lawless lingo. Like, I'm cool. Then he said, Santa, I'm counting on your humanity. I'm not asking for a whole lot. Can't you see? You got Mrs. Claus, the elves, and a reindeer fleet. All I'm asking is for one human being. Bro, who says that? One human being? That's the shit that you would probably go, if Jeffrey Dahmer had a food truck, you would pull up and ask for one human being from him. That don't sound like a normal request. He started it off saying, I'm counting on your humanity. If you really counting on Santa's humanity, then just turn around and put your hands behind your back right now, because Santa gonna bring them boys, them alphabet boys, to your door. You know what I'm saying? Like, his humanity gonna have your ass in a slammy. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Then he told him, like, yo, you already got yours. You got Mrs. Claus, and you got pets and all that. You got a whole fleet. You good. I'm just asking for one. Like, it's just unhinged, man. You know what I mean? And then he kind of wrapped the joint up, just kind of repeating himself a little bit. But it's just a completely unhinged song, and I heard it, and I was just like, yo, I can't believe that people out here just letting this rock. So I had to shed some light on that, man. Do with that what you will. You know what I mean? I feel the best place to go from there is on a good note, a positive note. Brittney Griner is home now. Welcome home to Brittney Griner. I'm happy that she was free. The thing about her situation that's unique is that she got out, pretty early compared to the time that she was facing up. I think she was facing up to 9 years. The fact that she's home is a moment to celebrate above everything else, man. But everybody want to turn into foreign diplomats and politicians and all of that. And there's just no need for it, to be honest. Like, if I'm being real, because the most important thing is that she's free. We talked about this, shout out to producer Bethany. We talked about this on our old show. Her freedom was most important because she's over there in Russia in, crazy conditions, right? Million miles away from home, facing all of this time for something that's like, come on, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people doing all this. Well, you got to follow the rules, if you're going to move around. Bro, meanwhile, you saying free somebody who did a crime on camera and showed their face, but you saying free them, but now the rules apply. You see the fundamental difference there? When it's somebody who you care about, the rules go out the window. It don't matter at that point. You just want them home. You want what's best for them. Same thing with Brittney Griner, her loved ones and her family and her friends. Like, they just wanted her home. The only deal on the table was the one that they made. So I mean, you gotta tip your hat to the Biden administration for doing it, because it wasn't an easy process. It wasn't quick, but it was the one that they needed to do. So in this time, when you see a black woman prioritized in a situation, this is no time to complain. This is a time to applaud that, be happy for her and her family, and move forward, man. Like, all of the rest of the talk is, get the jokes off, about the trade, because they did get smoked in the trade. You know what I mean? Homie who they had to trade for Brittney Griner, name is the Merchant of Death. Nobody really even knows his real name until, like, you got to read the article to find his real name out. They call him the Merchant of Death. So the same way we got Big Meech, they got Big Merch. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really was like that, And so they had to make the deal. They had to. For this MCU villain name ass nigga, like, they had to do it, So I can't be mad at that, man. She's home. And again, like, if this was one of your family members or something like that, you wouldn't care about that shit, man. A vape pen, like, what are we talking about for real? Like, what do we actually talk about, man? So shout out to Brittney Griner, man. I'm just happy that she's home. You know what I mean? Just being honest. So shout out to Drake. Drake is one of my favorites. If you know me, you already know the deal. But I'm gonna have to start calling Drake 42 Dub. And I mean dub in the sense of, I'm cool on that. Because it's reported The Drake has a brand new chain, right? Custom. It's called Previous Engagement, made of 42 engagement rings, representing the 42 times he thought of proposing to different women, but he decided not to. Now, everybody's first reaction to this was like, oh, Drake's a cornball, he's a simp, he's this, that, and the third. But if you listen to Drake's music, the only thing that you're surprised at is that the number isn't higher. Drake leads the league, I'm sure, in waking up the next day saying, nah, I was wilding. With the chuckle and the grin and all that, you know what I'm saying? Or reading through the thread like, nah, I said that? Oh. But we've all been there before. You get a taste of something new. You like her laugh. You like the face she make when she confused about something. You like, yeah, she the one. 3 days later, you like, let me delete that thread. Like, it happens, man. It happens. And I hate how people trying to act holier than thou when it comes to Drake, man. That needs to be applauded. This is some Seinfeld shit right here. You know, Seinfeld was knocking down everything. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is kind of in the same vein. So him having those, you know, just having the ice on deck and being like, you know what, I'm gonna turn this shit into something beautiful. I gotta applaud that, man. Shout out to Drake. I'm not mad at that at all. You know what I'm saying? I gotta shout him out for that, man. Also, shout out to producer Bethany. She she posed this question a little while back on her Instagram story, and she didn't post the results, but she asked this question, and she said, depending on how you answer this, I need to know, who to block. So if producer Bethany has blocked me by the time this episode comes out, then you know I chose the wrong answer. Basically, her question was, in 3 movies, right? 3-movie run, are you taking Rush Hour or are you taking Bad Boys? My answer is Bad Boys. And the reason why is because Rush Hour, don't get it twisted, Rush Hour is absolutely incredible. I don't remember Rush Hour 3 that much. So, I mean, maybe that's kind of influencing my decision. But, all of the Bad Boys movies, I know clearly. And I remember them vividly. Rush Hour to me is more on the, it's comedy up front. And then it's like the storyline it's in there. You know what I mean? For sure. Like, that's what makes it brilliant. But I feel like it's a comedy. Like, that's what it is. Bad Boys feels like more of a, look at these 2 cops, you know what I mean? Doing their thing, moving around together. And there's subtle comedy in it. There's funny shit. There's things that weren't, unintentionally funny shit in there. Like it had it all. And I feel like Bad Boys 2 is the best movie out of all 6 of those. You know what I mean? Rush Hour 1 through 3, Bad Boys 2, and then Bad Boys for Life. I just feel like overall, the Bad Boys trilogy is a little more efficient at what I want. This is just a preference thing, honestly. You can't really go wrong. I'll watch, any of those movies on any given day. And it was also, rumored. It's rumored right now that Rush Hour 4, may be happening. I'm just not sure if they can pull it off, and I think they might do more harm to the franchise than good. I mean, obviously there's some money in it to be made, or else, why do it after all this time, for sure. But I'm just not sure if what made that movie or what made those movies incredible to begin with, I'm not sure if that same shit can fly, in 2022 and beyond. Like, they're going to have to water it down so much that it's not going to be the same movie. Chris Tucker, famously didn't do, more Friday movies because he got into, he got more, more righteous, more, more getting in touch with God and things like that because, kids were coming up to him making weed jokes, and so he was just like, nah, I'm not with it. So I just question whether or not like this can be something that feels authentic to the series. You know what I'm saying? And if we're basing it just off of like comedy and shit like that, the last time I saw Chris Tucker, stand up, man, it was tough. It was tough, man. It was, I don't know. That shit was like seeing, Patrick Ewing on the Sonics and all that. Like, it's just a little different. It don't hit the same, you know what I mean? But I mean, hey, I will check it out. If they drop that out, I will check it out. I'm not even gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? Coming up in a few, man, I got my man Scott, my brother. You know what I mean? Co-founder of the Barber Network. We talked about, his making his move from Chicago to LA, what it takes to, start up a business, what it takes to build something from the ground up with a team. We talked about a lot of shit, man. We had some fun, you know what I mean? So we're going to pay a couple bills and we're going to have Scott pull up, you know what I mean? It's All for the Love, episode 12, man. Yo, as promised, as usual, we got the homies pulling up. Who better than my brother right here, my Midwest brother? You know what I mean? We share similar stories, similar backgrounds, you know what I mean? My man Scott from the Barber Network. What's going on, my G?
I'm glad to be here. I called you out on the pod this week. I was like, he didn't want Hollywood on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you got heat makers on here. Listen. You know what I'm saying?
He's saying this all.
Doing high quality interviews. I'm like, okay.
He's saying this all while we have just wrapped up a Bulls podcast just a few short days ago.
Yeah, I called him out on the pod. I was like,
Yeah.
I understand.
No.
You call me Hollywood all the time.
You know we was gonna make this happen, man. You already know. So I think I think the best place to start here with us, right? Like we talk shit a lot about sports, music, bullshit, all that. But I remember years ago when you hit me up and you said, "Yo, we about to start this Barbershop Network shit, man. This is the plan that we got in mind. We kind of want to go down these avenues and tackle these things." So to fast forward, it's 2022 to see the progress you guys have made by not only getting that shit off the ground and really sticking to that, but like covering Bears games and all the pods you got, all the shows. First and foremost, congratulations. But I do want to talk about that journey though, right? Like what was that like in the beginning to say, look, I'm gonna do this, let's do it. Like what was that journey like starting out?
Well, it's not a crazy story, but it's an interesting story. So anybody who knows me, like my whole main thing, I moved to Los Angeles in 2014. I'm from Chicago, South Side, born and raised. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the South Side show, because I've never seen a show that's like depicted the city. It's
that show is hilarious.
That show does. Shout out to them. But I'm from the South Side of Chicago, and I always wanted to do something like entertainment wise. And I moved to Los Angeles, for music and stuff like that. Of course, Pappy. So I started like with music management. And so a lot of people don't know, when you go to LA, you gotta get a day job. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get a day job. And I was blessed to have a day job that wasn't bad. I worked at Amazon Studios. Not the website, but the actual movie studio. People was hitting me up when I first got there, like, let me get that Prime. I'm like, I'm not the website, bro. It's the actual studio. So I worked there for about 3 years. So this is probably like maybe in my first year there, and about like I was just really you're starting to see like all these offices I was in. It was like nothing but white people, and they're talking about like what type of black entertainment that black people want to see, like what kind of media content. And I was there like, I'm the only black dude in here, and y'all in here talking about what we want to see.
Yeah, like you niggas don't even go here. They like, what you mean?
Yeah, I was like, exactly. I was like, so it just kind of like threw me off, and I was kind of frustrated with music at the time. Yeah. And I've always loved sports, and we already had the 79th and Hallis podcast, which we've been covering for the Bears, or something me and my brother just started, is just being frustrated Bears fans. We need an outlet to do this, and this is like 2015. So this is really before the podcast market got a little oversaturated, and so we just kind of took the success of that, and I was like, yo, I want to talk about other sports too. So I was like, yo, let's do like our own network. And so it's like 2017. So I reached out to my brother, and I reached out to my homie Pierce, and I was like, yo, let's do this thing. So it all happened pretty quickly. Yeah. Like I came up with the idea maybe in like August or September 2017. Mm-hmm. We launched January 1st, 2018. So we're actually coming up on our 50th anniversary.
Yeah. Bro, you hit me up in December that year and told me about that. Yeah. And it was up and running in January, like immediately. That's what's always been so dope about it to me, is because it happened immediately. Like,
yeah, and it usually don't happen that fast. Like I hit you up, I hit up my man Al Patron, I hit up a lot of people, and I actually give a shout out to my man Cole. He's also a Detroit guy. Mm-hmm. He made the logo. Yep. He killed it. And then my brother, we was thinking about like what's something we can name it. Like what's a place where black people have sports conversations. Like, we kind of wanted to be like the anti-Barstool. And so my brother was like, barbershop. So let's just call it the Barber's Chat Network. And it just, like, it stuck. And so we came up with a great, logo for it. Cole made a great logo. We had the site up and running. And Pierce is like, we all kind of have, like, different roles. It's kind of like a, Rockefeller thing. Like, I feel like my brother and Pierce are kind of like the silent partners a little bit. Like, they both big.
Like bigs, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I talk a lot like Dame. A lot. Anybody who know me, I talk a lot like Prime Dame. But I'm also like,
that's why we get along. I'm telling you, we both kind of got. That's how we get along.
I talk a lot like Dame, but it's like I also like I'm on the roster. I'm like an active player on the roster, so I'm a little bit of Jay too. But it's like we put all that together, and we just started with different podcasts, and then it started pretty good, getting good traction. But really, what kind of took it to the next level was honestly during the pandemic, which is actually kind of crazy because everybody's at home. And we just started pumping out more content. We had so much time to do other stuff. And then I got to give a shout out to my man Terrence Tomlin, my man Gene, my man Gino, OG Gene from the Bigs Media, which is another great media company in Chicago. And they were covering the Bears at first. And they were looking for a representative to help them because they were doing the Bulls, they were doing the Cubs and the White Sox too. So they couldn't do all these things at the same time. So they reached out to my brother. I'm in LA, so I couldn't do all of it at the time, and I still had a job. So my brother was doing it the 2020 season during the COVID season. And then in 2021, last year, we're like, yo, let's just see if we can, like, finesse it to get our own credentials. Not that, we had a problem being under them or anything, but we wanted to do our own stuff.
Put your own name on it,
And my brother. My brother has a, cool dude.
Shout to Joe,
they love. Yep. Yeah, they loved the company. They love what we're doing. They easily gave him his own thing. Fine. And then last year I did 5 games last year. And then last year, I also got credentialed by the Los Angeles Clippers. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing those games. And then that's really just kind of like got us like, our name out there to the point where we've had a couple spots on the Block Club Chicago, which is a big thing out here. I've been on WGN Radio. Shout out to my man Jared Payton. Gotta give a shout out to my man Sean Davis. But Jared and Sean, those dudes kind of like put the battery in our backs because everybody knows Jared. Jared's the son of the one and only Walter Payton.
Sweetness.
Jared, he's a super cool dude. I mean, he's one of the coolest dudes on planet Earth. And Jared was like, man, let's come on the show. And this is like right after the Cubs won the World Series. And anybody who know me, y'all know how I feel about that. But so as a very dedicated White Sox supporter, I went up there and was like, I was trying to crap on it. Didn't work. But we went up there and I got like, some, more train or whatever. And so it's kind of like when we started working with these teams, with the Bears and the Clippers, it's opened up more opportunities for it. We was able to go to the draft this year. And actually, the crazy thing about the draft, and I'm gonna close the story short. I know I'm running a little long with the story, but there's 2 things about the draft that kind of like showed me like the support we get. One thing about the NFL, they're really late with like telling you got cleared for something. So we got cleared for the draft like 2 weeks before the draft happened. Now, I'm working on my pretty much. I work on my own. I pay myself pretty much. So it's like just pay my rent. Anybody knows what rent in Los Angeles is like? It's not cheap. Boy. So I'm doing all that. We take care of other bills. I'm like, how we gonna get to Vegas for the draft? So we put up I was like, man, forget it. I'm just gonna put a GoFundMe up there. Man, we got about $2,000 in like a week. Bro.
Yeah, I saw that. It moved like really, really quick, man. Like a lot of people wanted to see y'all there so much that it was like, nah, fuck that. Like we're gonna make this happen. It was that was incredible. That was absolutely. I remember seeing that in real time. Like, yo,
it was crazy. And so we did that. We went to the draft fully off what they gave us. And then even this season, we hit our 200th episode of 79th and Hollis. We had a live podcast at Haymarket Pub and Brewery in downtown Chicago. And we had about 85 people come up. And for a bar, like we had that joint packed down. To see everybody come out to that, buying the shirts. And then even with this last one with the Dominique Foxworth, and then we had Dominique Foxworth come on the pod. And I don't know if you remember when the season first started, he was like, Justin Fields should demand a trade.
Yep.
Bears fans are very sensitive. Everybody was hitting him up, like destroying his mentions. He like, yo, name a popular Bears podcast I can go on and explain my take. When I tell you we had like 250 people, it was like 79th House. So I interviewed them the same day. I'm like, this is strictly off the love, man.
The support, the love, that's fire. So that's fire.
It's been all organic. It's been fun, and we're doing this with little to no budget.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, which has been crazy. So it's been cool, man. I just want to just open up more opportunities for other people too. It's really like the long term plan with Barber.
Yeah, not 100%. And so, like while you telling that story and like while you talk about getting, support from the people and just, how that looks like and what it feels like, do you think that helps you with not being so caught up in like, oh, we should, as creators, you look at other people and you like, man, I've been doing it this long. I should be here. I should be there.
Oh, yeah,
but when you get the support from the people, does it kind of bring you back down where it's like, okay, this is the gratitude right here?
Well, I wouldn't say it like brings me down. Because
not bring you down, but like talks you off of the, you know what I mean?
Off the lid, yeah. That's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up because it's like, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, I tweeted this the other day. I was like, you have a lot of days where it's like, man, I'm doing it. And there's a lot of days I want to jump off the Staples Center. But it's like you have like the balance. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like you got to stay, focused. So it's like you might see somebody on Instagram look like they doing it better than you. But always treat Instagram and social media, it's kind of like highlights, right? Like you can look at a highlight tape and be like, oh, this dude had a great game. Because you look at the box score, but you didn't watch the full game. You didn't see that he didn't have a great drive, but he bounced back.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that person's story is. So, but the love from the fans and the listeners is humbling because there's a lot of days I don't feel like talking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If Larry David was a black man from Chicago, it would be me. I don't want to talk to people like a lot of times. So it's like, well, you hear people say, oh, man, this is what get me through my job. This is what, I was on my shift last night and, that new Summer Sessions episode upload, that got me through the 8-hour shift. Man. That type of stuff gets you going because it's like you never know what people are going through and you're helping them. So even if I'm not feeling it, I get up and I do it anyway, man. So it's definitely very humbling to meet people in real life and they're like, yo, man, I love what you're doing. It's like I've had people who work for ESPN, work for the Chicago Tribune. I'll be at these Clippers and Bears games. They're like, yo, I love what y'all doing. Keep that stuff up. Like I had a guy, I don't want to name him, but a very, legendary writer in Chicago, in the Chicago media, DM'd us. Was like, man, I just want to reach out to y'all, tell them I love what y'all doing, keep doing it. Says there's not a lot of people in this space who are, and this white guy, he's like black and doing their thing. Y'all keep doing it. And that was like something that was like, okay, cool. I know I'm on the right path. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, stories like that are, great. And, Bethany and I talk about this all the time, right? Like, when people hit me up and tell me, like, yo, I just caught up on all the episodes and I was going through this and, whatever, and you said this thing on this episode and I love that shit. Like, I laughed at it and whatever. Those are the best messages for me to ever get ever because, like, I'm really just up here talking my shit. Like,
bruh,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking my shit. I'm just, sharing a piece of my personality with the people. And if somebody can connect with it, it's beautiful. You know what I mean? So, and so again, like this whole conversation is about being creatives and, putting out content and things like that. I'm a firm believer in every great creator has like a conflict, right? Like whether it's an external thing or whether it's like you trying to outdo your old shit, whatever. What would you say is the conflict for you? Like what's that battle for you that keeps you going? Like I gotta get it. I gotta do this.
My biggest conflict, I guess, is I'm wildly impatient. Like wildly impatient. Like, I don't even like waiting for my air fryer to get done. Like it's very bad. Like, and I've gotten a lot better, but I'm impatient. And then like my mom tells me all the time, you can't expect people to be like you, which is like the number one thing. I'll be like, you're right. She's like, you gotta expect people to be like how they are. So like that's one thing that I feel like I've gained recently is knowing to treat people like how they are. Like everybody's not gonna be as as motivated as you, but I can't do this by myself. I got a great team, so it's like there might be some people who are good at doing what I do. And there's one thing that I did this year. Like I got like a legit staff now, which is I gotta give a shout out to all them people because I ain't paying them. Like I ain't got no way to pay them right now. But like
it's for the love.
It's for the love, but they believe in the
Absolutely.
vision. So it's like I gotta give a shout out to my homegirl Tiff. She's the general manager of Barber's Chat Network. She does like all the emails, all the connecting, all the stuff I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause she's friendly. She know how to talk to people. I know how to talk to people too. I just don't like doing it.
Yeah.
And then we got Dante, my man. Dante, he's the president of Barber's Chair. And then we got my man Justin. We just brought him in doing marketing and branding, and he actually works with the PGA Tour. He works with the PGA Tour. Used to work with the Milwaukee Bucks, so we got a lot of stuff going. So it's like to have an actual team, so they can do stuff that I'm not good at. I can do stuff that they're not good at, and it just really makes it one thing because you can't do it by yourself. And I think like the biggest obstacle before was like trying to do a million things at one time.
Man, listen.
And this year I was like, I need some help. And you got a good team, people working. That's just pretty much how we put it together.
And I think that right there is my favorite part about what y'all got going on. And I say that like I don't just, like I talk to all of y'all like all the time. We kick it like it's family. Like you know what it is.
And you family, dog.
Yeah,
like, you part of it.
Absolutely, 1,000%. You know what I mean? But it's like to see the sense of community. Like us as black people, when we came up, like especially the era we grew up, the sense of community was the thing that kept us away from the
100%.
bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the older dudes in the neighborhood saying, hey, go inside, this finna blah, blah, you know, whatever. Like, you know. So it's beautiful to see you guys take that concept and dominate social media with it, really, because we know who's Barber Chair by, you know, when the new episode come out, you know you're going to see the guys' names, like, pumping this content out, pushing that out. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing to have. Like, to have a sense of community, a team, and people who are really there, like you said, like, look, I don't feel like doing this shit. Somebody else got it. You know, they doing this. When you look at that, right? When you go back to the days where it was like you looking at it like, nah, look, I'm gonna do this shit because it looks like it's easy. Like, yeah, I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna do that, do X, Y, Z. Yeah. How different is that process? That Scott from the Scott now? Like, how do you look at the old Scott? Like, hey, nigga, you was wilding, or you know what I mean?
Oh man, old Scott was like he was a high head. Like I had Supreme, what you call that? For shout out all my untall folks. What's it, the Napoleon complex?
Oh yeah.
Like, I was somebody like, you might be saying something to me, and I'm like, nigga, you sound real disrespectful right now. But it's like,
I don't like that.
Yeah, like you playing with me, you know what I'm saying? You from Detroit, we from Chicago, we know how it is. Listen, like it's just we hear stuff like, you know, it's goofy. So it's like, but the best thing that happened for me was hitting my 30s. Like I just don't have time or like the patience to like. I try to avoid conflict, and so it's like I might be like, let's say I get like a text or something, or I'll give an example. I can't name the person obviously, but there's a big member of the media who I had booked for an interview, big person. You and Mark, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. This has been amazing. I feel like I fumbled at the 1 yard line. Actually, I didn't fumble.
Yeah, I was about to say you didn't fumble. Yeah,
I didn't fumble. I was ready for the snap,
yeah.
but and I never forget it. And this is you gonna laugh at this. I'm at the Soho House in West Hollywood, and my manager hit me like, so yeah, they nixed it last minute, and I tripped down the stairs because I'm like, what the, and I tripped. I bust my stuff in the middle of West Hollywood Soho House, and I kid you not, John Stamos, who plays Uncle Jesse from the Full House, is just walking past.
That's really some Larry Davis shit. That's really some crazy shit, bro.
Look, man,
it's crazy.
It's some very random Los Angeles stuff. And I was just, my knee, when I tell you my knee, like, I had like, and I'm light skinned. So
nigga felt like Jason Derulo at the Met, bro.
Like, I bruised very quickly. So it's like my knee, dog, like, it was look like I got tackled by Ray Lewis. But it's like, I'm up here steaming, like, just mad. But it's like, before, I'd have just been like, ranting. But I'm like, you know what? It ain't meant to happen right now. It might happen later on. What I'm going to do, I'm going to enjoy this nice weather we got here. I'm going to drink this wine. And we going to start over again tomorrow. Ooh. So that just kind of shows like the growth. Cause before, I would have been, it'll ruin my entire day.
Consume you, yeah.
It'll let me consume you. And I'd have kind of like took offense to it.
Yeah.
And you can't get offended in this industry. Like, I don't delete no numbers. Like, I got ex-girlfriends on my number where I don't talk to them no more. But, like, you got to do a lot. I'm talking about a lot for me to delete your number or block. Because you never know what you might need somebody for.
Yes, no, 1,000%. So, you got to cross a certain line where I'm like, you know what? I don't ever want to get money with you or do nothing with you ever because you did this. And I'm cool on that.
There's been people who I ain't spoke to in years. And they be like, yo, I thought about you for this opportunity. Like,
absolutely.
Come do this. So I always keep the line of communication up. So I would just say growth. Not taking things personally and not getting mad about every single thing. It's just really just thinking and you know, trying to adjust.
Because that shit take energy. Getting mad at shit take energy.
It does, bro.
It's super easy to let that shit just like, you know, like you said, just be like, damn, it's boiling up. But you said something very interesting, right? And it's when you said entering your 30s. Now, when we were younger, you know, as kids, like the way kids are now, they look at people that's like 30, 40, and they like, oh, man, it's old, you know, whatever. How do you view 30s now versus when you did when you were younger? Like,
oh man, that's a good question. We know when you're young, you're like, man, you 30, nigga, you old. Like, I don't want to be doing this at 30. I always say, like, you know, when you're like a kid or like a teenager, even kid, if you under 25, you know, you kind of a kid. But it's like, most people, I know some people grow up differently. You're forced to be, you know, adult quicker. But a lot of times, like, think about what you thought about where you gonna be when you were 30, like when you were in high school or something. Like, if you'd have just told me, like, in high school, oh, well, you know, you be doing your own thing, you'll be covering the Bears, you be living in Los Angeles, I'm like, oh, nigga, I'm rich. Like that's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm here, baby.
Exactly. So it changes your mindset, but it's really just like, you realize that 30s are still very young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're still learning stuff, and I'm sure 10 years from now, when I'm 44, I'll be like, oh, I was stupid when I was 34. You supposed to keep learning. But I think the biggest thing that's taught me is just, like, growth and, like, just learning that, you know, you got to appreciate stuff. And just even, like, you know, I'm home for the holidays right now. Yeah. Just being around, like, your friends who, like, who knew you before you were doing anything. Or, you know, being around your family members, you know, being around your mom and dad. Like, you kind of, like, you get more and more of appreciation for it, man. So that's kind of like what the 30s is brought. Kind of like more of a maturity for me, you know. And that's just, you know, something that, and it happened instantly too. I'm talking like the day I turned 30, I didn't even care about
that
stuff.
shoulder got the aching a little bit, nigga. Like, hey, man.
Oh yeah, you definitely have the random knee aches.
Yeah,
like I be walking around the house like Magic Johnson from time to time. But you know,
bro,
it's,
that
cool,
shit
though.
gonna happen. That shit happens, man. And you know, one more thing before we let you get up out of here. You talk about being home for the holidays. You back in Chicago. How much pressure or how much, you know, did you put on yourself when you got to LA to be like, I'm not going, I can't go back home. Not I can't visit, but I can't go back home. I can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a constant pressure. It never goes away. If you're a Los Angeles transplant, and there's a lot of us, and I remember when I first moved there, and my dad has a friend. My dad's a preacher, so he had like this other preacher friend out here, and he had this church. Well, he still has a church up on Crenshaw, and I went there like maybe like my first year when I lived in LA. He was like, it was probably like 6-7 months after I moved. He was like, well, you still here. At least if you get through every 6 months out here, it's like, you know, it's an accomplishment because it's very hard. You know, you got a lot of people who come out here. Like, I believe Los Angeles has a huge what's the word I'm looking for? Like, homeless population, because I think people get wrapped up in a false success thing, like, oh, you just gonna come here, you're gonna be a movie star, and then you see a lot of people suffer from that. I've seen a lot of people in my almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years next year that I've been in Los Angeles, and 2024, my bad. So I'm rounding up. It's 2023 in my head, but you know, 2024 it'll be 10 years, and so it's like I've seen people who were there for a couple months, and the palm tree stopped being showed on Instagram, and then like they go home, and it's like, I don't care if I gotta work at Del Taco, bro. I'm just not doing it. I'm not coming back. You know what I'm saying? And so when I first moved, it was a constant paranoia, because I kind of felt like, as good as I planned, I still underestimated it. And the first 6 months was terrible. I didn't have a job, and then, you know, you really just got to keep, you know, grinding, just keep different opportunities come on. You could be doing a random job. Like, I didn't do everything from sell car insurance in Los Angeles to sending Diddy's Christmas gifts out when I worked at FedEx to, you know, just you know, the most random thing you can do, just whatever you gotta do to survive.
That's Peter Griffin time right there. You gotta do what you gotta do,
bruh. Yeah, and so it's just really just like, and you know, I love Chicago, but it's like one thing when I do when I come home, it kind of refocuses me, because it's like, okay, you know, as much as
cold
you
as
love
fuck.
your
I ain't trying to come back to these.
it's, bruh, super cold. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Like,
No, sir.
I'm soft now. Like, anything under 70 degrees is freezing to me.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's, you know how many times I go outside to warm the car, but I'm like, God, I'm like, man, this ain't the same 30 degrees it used to be. It ain't the same.
Oh, it's 40 degrees outside. This good. Like, we should not live like this, bro. I don't like, and
No.
people like, you get used to it. No, you don't. I lived in Chicago for 25 years. You don't get used to it, G, ever. So, it's just really just something. It's like, it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to come back to like living here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know, all due respect to my city. I love my city. But
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
I don't want to come back here. I want to keep doing what I'm doing in LA and just keep, and it's motivating to me, because some people might think it's depressing, but I love walking down the street and I see like a Bentley walk down and drive down the street. You see it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you see it a lot. You might see the most wild cars you ain't never seen, and it's just, it kind of is like motivation. Like, okay, I'm gonna get there too. So it's just really just about, just constant pressure and just stand on yourself. And this is really kind of what it is for me. So
yeah, no, that's fire, bro. Like that's fire. I think that this whole conversation can serve as like, some gems and some kind of playbook for those that's out there creating, doing the same thing, because that's all that's all this talk is centered around. It's like, like you said, believing in you, having a team, changing your mindset and things like that. So I man, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know what time it was. Like,
yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
I always say, people, give me that. I'm giving these jewels now, because like in a couple years, I'm wearing a little TED Talk mic.
Yeah, it's over.
I'm telling people, we all got the same 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? When I'm sitting there with my legs crossed.
Get
the jewels now.
That's going. Yeah, you better get that.
Now.
Nah, that's beautiful, man. Again, like I told you, man, it's family. He's just connected and all that. So, moving forward, man, just. Let the people know, like, what's going on. Like you said, you talked about the shows at the top of the, all the pods at the top of the show. Like let them really know what's going on.
Well, we are about to begin year 5, 5th anniversary at Barber's Chat Network. So we're doing a lot of stuff. We're currently in the midst of our 8th, 79th, and Howler season. It's our 3rd year covering the team. We got a couple more games left. But for next year, man, we want more events. We're going to be opening up the Barber's Chair merchandise store. So that's going to be up and running. Can't wait for that to go. We got some cool designs. And just more stuff, man. More coverage for y'all. I'm trying to get a little more into the gambling game a little bit, have that going up.
Yeah, holla at me.
California, man.
Yeah.
California, please make FanDuel legal. Stop playing around.
It's going to happen, because I think Georgia is also on that too. I want to say like maybe sometime next year it should happen, because a lot of these places are missing out on too much money, and that's what it comes down to. That's really what it comes down to.
Everything is legal in California, but gambling.
Yeah, it's on the way. It's on the way.
But we got that. I'm in the 3rd season of my current show, I'm Not Gonna Hold You, which has been fun. What did they spell show? Pay me so I can put this on a bigger thing for y'all. It's But shout out to my man Pav. We use his guest room. To do the show a lot of times. So shout out to Pav. But yeah, it's just really just about taking this thing to the next level, man. So we got a lot of stuff coming next year. And a lot of stuff I can't reveal now, but we're working on some things, man. But, you can follow us at Barber's Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Visit thebcnet.com. All our stuff is on there. All the videos, the Patreon, all the information is on the main site, man. So you can get in tune with us that way.
Man, I appreciate you for joining me, my brother. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, nothing, bro.
We gotta have you pull back up. You already know what time it is, man.
Dog, ain't nothing but just a text, bro.
Yeah, we got to have you pull back up, man. But yeah, man, shout out to you, man. Shout out to the barbershop. Shout out to everything going on over there, man. You know what I'm saying? My dog, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Man, shout out to my brother Scott once again, man. You know what I mean? It's the homie, like I said, tune in everything he got going on, tap in with, the good brothers over there at the Barber's Chair Network. Before we get up out of here, man, I do wanna just share a gem with y'all real quick. I try to give y'all something y'all could live with and take with you. And this time I want to talk about when people say nobody owes you anything, right? Probably heard it before, and it's true. Nobody owes you anything. But that's the point where a real connection begins. Because the fact that nobody owes it to you to retweet your content, they don't owe it to you to like it, to comment, to subscribe, to let people know how dope your shit is. They don't owe you any of that. But it's more genuine that way. When you look up and you really see the love coming back from a place where it's like you don't have to do that. That's when there's real love. That's when there's real support. Imagine you sign a contract somewhere and they tell you, somewhere in the language that, they're going to retweet your shit 10 times. They're going to boost it this many times. You don't know whether they really fuck with it or they going by, damn, we got to follow the rules. We have to do this. That don't feel good, knowing that you have to do some shit. Like, oh, man, you kind of resent that shit. So I don't want anybody feeling like they owe me anything or they have to do this for me. Like, nah. I appreciate the love. When I look up and I see somebody, reposted a clip of mine or, retweeted and they telling other people about it, they putting other people up on it. People, they raise these questions on social media. Hey, what's a good podcast to listen to? What's a funny podcast to listen to? What's a good show out there? And they recommend my shit. They don't owe me that. But that's why I appreciate it. And that's the way you should move as well. Sure, nobody owes you anything. That's cool. But the people who are around and they're in your corner and they support your shit no matter what, those are the people that are there for you. That's your tribe right there. I don't ever want to do business with somebody that owes me anything. Let's partner up. Let's make sure this shit is out of the love. We want to get to the money for sure. But I never want any of the support to come because somebody owes me anything. And you shouldn't want people around you that feel like they owe you something or you owe them something. That's where resentment comes in. That's where it's like, oh man, it ain't, you start doing shit for the show, for the looks, to keep the fronts up. And I'm just not with any of that, So all the love, that I get is genuine. And I appreciate it all, man. I reach back out to everybody, man. And anybody who's ever retweeted my content, ever liked, comment, anything, they ever told a friend to tell a friend about any of my shit, I love it. Need more people like that in your circle, man. Surround yourself with more people who don't owe you shit. You don't owe them anything, and it's just out of the love because y'all genuinely want to see each other win. You genuinely want to see each other progress. That's when it's real. That's when it's beautiful. You know what I mean? So until next time, man. You know what I mean? We out.